What's going on, MGTOW Nation, Red Pill Nation? This is Renegade #1, aka the Feminist Killer, hashtag Logitorian. I want to talk about you being the chosen one. You are the one that's decided to overcome corruption. You are the one that's decided, I'm not going to live on my knees like the majority of the people in this world. I'm not going to live out of fear. I'm not going to be content with mediocrity. I'm going to, as opposed to me living on my knees, I'm going to live on my feet and fight. You understand? I'm not going to live in fear to be just a slave, because that's exactly what you are if you are content with just surviving. You understand? If you're just content with mediocrity. A lot of people tell you, oh, you need to do what everybody else is doing. You refuse to be a clone. You understand? And this is what people have to realize, and myself included, as a man who's learned to go his own way and to accept that this world is a system, it's a grid. We are all in a video game. But with that being said, you have to realize the moment you take the first breath coming into this world, you are born a slave. You are not born free. Just because you're not arrested, you're not physically shackled, you're mentally born into indoctrination, slavery, right? You have these instructors, that gave birth to you. They're called your parents, right? Your parents are the first ones that enslave you with the mentality of following the manufactured order in the world. You understand? That is obviously these are the ones that abuse you. They beat you if you don't follow directions, or I'm sorry, they beat you if you don't follow their commands. If you don't think like them. Your mind is not yours when you are a child, when you are in your teenage years, when you are in your, early adult years. You understand? You choose as of now, if you're watching my videos at least, you as a logical person, you want to seek the truth. You're born to accept lies. You are born to just be another number. They don't want you to be intelligent. You understand? The thing is, what most people don't make it past the point of overcoming their abuser, which is your parents, overcoming the lies that they've told you. You've grown to learn you've grown to accept what they've told you. You understand? A lot of you have said, oh, my parents have beat me, but I learned to accept it. I understand why they did it. I understand why my parents told me certain things. I understand now. It helped me out. I understand why they don't want me to speak out of line. Because it's bad. I could get myself killed. I won't make it in this world. Things like that. That's indicative of a person who has Stockholm syndrome. You understand? You submit to your abuser. And I think even myself included, but I've grown out of it. And I think you being choosing to not be in the norm, you've chose to overcome your Stockholm syndrome. You've chose to overrule your abuser. You chose, as a person that was attempted to become a slave, you chose to kill your slave master. Your slave master is your parents. Your slave master is your teacher in elementary or middle school or high school. For the young people who are watching my videos, those are your slave masters. They want to keep you in a certain frame of mind, because a person who doesn't follow the system, who doesn't abide by the system, is obviously what? A threat to the system. You understand? If you're not a threat to your slave master, if you agree to be enshackled mentally, you agree to have a one-dimensional way of thinking, you are okay. They're not going to fuck with you. But the moment you start to become more aware, that's when they get scared and the hairs start to stand up on the back of their neck. You understand? So the sad part is, when people make it to their adulthood, the bad things that transpired in their childhood, they carry it on to their children. The cycle continues because they can't overcome the Stockholm syndrome. That plays a key role. You as a man, you have to overcome the Stockholm syndrome. You really do, because that can really cloud your judgment. It can really keep you from actually seeing the truth. Don't just look at me as some guy on YouTube just talking shit. I'm not gonna listen to this guy. I don't know him like that. I'm comfortable with my parents. I trust my parents because they love me. That's how I used to think. I realized, obviously we're related genetically, but they don't always have your best interest. They don't even know. Think about it like this. You're being raised and taught to be a blue pillar before you're born. They don't even know the world. You got blind people trying to lead you. They're going to lead you to failure. They're going to lead you to being a pig in a slaughterhouse. That's what they're going to lead you to. You have to have the intelligence. You have to have the intuition to see out of that. Okay? Everybody has a different vision. You understand? Some people have tunnel syndrome vision. Some people have X-ray vision. We are the ones that have the X-ray vision, where we see through everything. And that's the thing. I'm trying to get you to have X-ray vision, not tunnel vision. You got to see past what you were told, and a lot of people can't do that. And another thing is, I hear a lot of people, talk about change, but they're not really about change, right? Most people that I realize, most people are statues. They don't move anywhere. They're stuck in one place for the rest of their fucking lives. I don't want to be a statue. And if you're watching my videos, you don't want to be a statue. Your whole goal in life and your whole goal as of now should be as progression. You should never be doing the same thing over and over again. Obviously, as a collective, as human beings, you should see things from a macro level, not a micro level, a macro level. Look at the bigger picture. See how human beings have behaved throughout time, and see where the result of their actions. You know what I mean? It's kind of like if you see a bunch of people going to prison, what's led up to them going to prison? So that right there, don't take that route, because it'll obviously take you to that destination. Same thing with, continuing to choose. Other people are choosing their destiny for you. You understand? Why take this mediocre route and knowing what type of outcome is going to come about it? I don't want somebody to choose my destiny. If you listen to your parents and you do what they tell you to do, or if you listen to what the government tells you what to do, or your boss, you're allowing them to dictate your life. And as far as I'm concerned, human beings do not need to own other human beings or tell human beings what to do. Period. That's a form of slavery. And I would say this. For criminals, murderers, and rapists, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about as far as you as a human being who has done nothing wrong. Why should you be told what to do? You should have the ability to have control over your body, over your life. You understand? So we've been brainwashed to believe that we have to live up to this doctrine. Period. And the thing is, this is what you have to understand. You cannot change anybody. I realize as 8 billion people that live in this world, we will continue to remain divided. and I'm not trying to be negative, I'm just being honest. We will never be able to assemble as men on a large scale because, first of all, we have ethnocentricity, where people swear that their culture is superior than the other and that their God is real. And you know what I think about that? You got ethnocentricity, you have bigotry, where there's nothing factual that can move a person out of their original position. So they're always, and this is like being a statue, they're always dictated by their initial thoughts. They can never deviate from it because they're hooked to it. They can't believe that they are convinced that their truth is the only truth. They're convinced that. So therefore, the reality is that most people are hooked into a false reality. The real actual reality is hard for people to coexist in, if that makes any sense. You know, so basically the reality is most people like living in a lie, and most people are living in a lie. And you have to live in a lie. I said that in my last video. But ultimately, we can't assemble because we have people connected to race. We have people connected by culture. They're being taught that if they even step out of line, you know, they will be ostracized. You got people who, you know, they'll decapitate you, cut your limbs off. If you even go against them, if you even present yourself as a threat on an intellectual level or on a mental level, whatever one you want to use, that's the sad part. But for those who choose to put themselves in that type of situation due to those circumstances, you are a brave individual. You choose to be valiant, right? You choose to be brave. You don't choose to be a coward and say, oh, well, you know, this is going to happen to me if I choose to go the other route, you know? And that's the thing. They use negative reinforcement to control you. Oh, one second. I'm sorry, my charger. I had to get my charger. They choose to use negative reinforcement to control you. You understand? They threaten you. They threaten to throw you in jail. They threaten to fine you. You understand? They threaten to guilt you. That's another thing. Guilt is probably one of the number one things that they'll try to do to you. They label you as a criminal because you can't follow, you refuse to be a subordinate. You understand? If you've overcome all of those hurdles, because it's really, life is a bunch of hurdles and everybody can't hurdle it. You understand? They're afraid to hurdle. You have to hurdle it. You have to jump over that stuff. And the thing is, if you have the ability to go against the grain, if you have the ability to think on your own and not with the crowd, and you have the mentality that, you know what, the truth is never going to be exposed to me, that we are all conditioned to be slaves. We are all conditioned to be workers. We are animals at the end of the day. We are being lied to. Period. Do you actually think they would tell you the truth? If they told us the truth right now, supposedly people will panic. You understand? Do you really think they care about you? There's people making money off of you just to tell you lies. I'm not one of those people. You and me, we have to assemble. We have to come together, and we got to rebel against this system. Another thing is, okay, The way to win the game is not to play. The way to, beat the Matrix is to get out of the grid. That's true. But another way we can beat the Matrix, just a possibility, is kill the puppet master. Right? Get rid of people who try to control you. You understand? Though this is what I realized about the government, right? Or, people in society, each society, because I think each country, each region of the world obviously has its own society. They use intimidation, like I said, negative reinforcement, but at the same time, they always demonize or shed a negative light towards a person who's trying to rebel, which is us. But they do the same thing. The thing is, they use synonyms. That's all they use is synonyms. It's different words with the same meaning. They'll say, "Oh, you'll go to jail for extortion." But what about taxation? That's the same thing. Oh, those people over there in that country, they're terrorists. But what about the police? They terrorize people in the streets. You understand? It's the same thing, different words. They try to use different terminology to confuse your mind. That's the ultimate goal, is to keep you bewildered. And like I said, if you have the ability to understand what I'm saying, you are the chosen one. If you don't understand anything I'm saying in this video, you're not the chosen one. You're still lost. You still have to uncover from the veil that's been placed over your eyes. Period. Unfortunately, a lot of guys refuse to remove that veil because they are hypnotized. This is not a game. This is reality that we live in. We are designed to be tamed. We are like dogs in a cage. They don't want to let us out. You understand? We are in a prison, but there's the bars are just invisible. That's what you have to realize. We are in an invisible prison. That's what you have to realize. So it's a hard thing to accept. That's pretty much it, man. I just really wanted to share that with you guys and just understand that you don't have to have you got options. Understand that you have options. Slavery is not the only option. It's freedom. The difference is freedom is hard to come by. Slavery, it's easy to submit and it's hard to actually be your own individual. People want to take the easy route. You can't have that mentality that everything has to be easy. You understand? It's not going to be easy. But the thing is, if we come together, we can trump any obstacle in our way. The strength of the mind can beat anything. If the mind is weak, you can't beat anything. That's the thing. So fortify your mind, kill who you were yesterday, kill who you were today, and be reborn tomorrow. You understand? Change your mentality. And that wasn't a biblical saying. Actually do it. Meditate. Overcome your addictions. That's another thing. Before I close out this video, I don't want to make it too long, but society tries to get you addicted to irrelevant activities. They try to get you addicted to TV. They like the things that they put on TV, they go in your eyes and they stay in your brain. They stay implanted. They're telling you this is what you should be doing. You have to overcome addiction. Addiction is any form of fashion. Period. If you can't overcome your addictions, if you can't overcome, ignorance being bliss, it's going to be a hard knock life, man. That's the thing. I think you choosing to go against the norm, and you being the Neo of this shitty industrialized world that we live in, it makes you stronger. Remember that. Weak people conform. Strong people, they see the truth and they don't allow no one to try to confuse them, to manipulate them. You understand? You are the one that's standing on your feet. They're the ones living on their knees. So don't allow anybody to tell you that you're weird, you're mentally ill, you're fat, you're ugly, you'll never get laid. Who cares? You're past that. You are on a higher frequency. You realize when you come to this point, you realize it was never about women in the first place. You realize that you are powerful than sexual desires. You are powerful beyond money. You have wisdom and knowledge, period. And a lot of people don't have that, but they like to use those terminologies. But that's something for you to understand. This is Renegade number 1. Like the video, share, subscribe, and peace out.